I am back out in Abu Dhabi, this time for the men's UAE tour, where I've been hanging around the teams like a bad smell, trying to get as much hot new tech as possible. Plus, get this, I've done a chainring size audit. The bike that everybody's been trying to get a look at is the brand new Colnago Y1 RS of world champion Tadej Pogacar. The team were kind enough to give us 20 minutes with it, so there'll be a full pro bike video coming out soon. But in the meantime, I thought you'd like to see the front end. This wasn't something that we saw with the women's UAE ADQ team at the women's race, but the men's team here have got a special head unit mount / cradle. So their Wahoo sits very neatly there at the front, and then there's a locking mechanism underneath to lock it and unlock it as you wish. It looks sleek and it looks very aero as well. And you'll be pleased to see also that Pogacar has managed to find space for his mini Incredible Hulk sticker. Here with the time trial bikes of Soudal-Quikstep. Junior Lasert is there. He's running a standard-ish 58 tooth outer chainring, Dura Ace. But they've got the custom chainrings on these two bikes just here. This is the Czechia rider, Joseph Currie. He's a bit of a time trial specialist. Nothing too monstrous here. That is a 60 tooth chainring. But he's the only guy that's got the custom 3D printed bars. If you have a look there at the front on the Garmin mount, they've put some sort of extra padding inside the Garmin mount, which I presume is to stop the head unit rattling about. Would you like to see some really hot tech? Straight from the middle of Lidl. Lidl-Trek trainers. I've actually got a pair of Lidl-Trek trainers at home that I actually purchased from the middle of Lidl, but I don't have the new updated version. I'm not sure these are prototypes, but I'll be hunting them soon. Now, since I've got 6 time trial bikes laid out in front of me here, now seems like the perfect time to do a chainring audit. You ready? 62, 62, 62, 60, 60, 60. Bahrain Victorious are using the Digirit carbon chain rings on their time trial setups here in UAE. Just asked head mechanic what the chainring sizes are, so I don't have to count. All of them on 62, apart from Bilbao and Keplinger. They're up to a 64. I'm here with the giant bike of Dylan Groenewegen with its custom colours. He won the Dutch National Championships last year for the 2nd time in his career. Now, if it looks like it's been scribbled over with a permanent marker, it's because it kind of has been. Apparently the designers did that and then put lacquer over the top of it. Let me know what you think of the design in the comment section down below. He's one of the few riders that I've seen who's got 3 options when it comes to changing his gear. So the standard one here on the levers, plus the sprint blips, for want of a better word, down here on the drops, and also behind the bars you can see another couple of options so you can change gears when he's up there on the tops. Luke Durbridge obviously won the Australian National Championships a few weeks ago. His new bike is not here just yet, but it will be with him once he gets back to Europe. I had to show you this bike. It's from the GCNTech Vini Fantini team. And it's from a Chinese brand called Pardus. This is their Gamero Evo bike. Not a bike I know a huge amount about. Just been trying to look it up online. So they're a Chinese brand that have been around since 2010. I noticed the Chinese team have used them at a World Championships team time trial last year. The most striking part about this bike though are the rear chainstays here, which are A, mega chunky, and B, splayed out at the back here, a bit like that Lotus track bike that Team GB use. Guys, you've got to check this out. I'm just going to skip past the carbon Merida bike to my left and show you this. Apparently it's called cardboard. Quite interesting actually. Walking around the paddock here, about 2/3 of the teams have used bike boxes or bike bags, a lot of them Chicon bags, but a few teams have decided to use just plain old cardboard boxes. And I was talking to the mechanics of Bahrain Victorious, and they were explaining that because they don't have a bike bag sponsor, they're free to use what they want, and they've chosen boxes specifically actually because it makes packing the time trial bikes a lot easier. It means that you don't have to take the bar extensions off, there's much less chance of the cables being pinched, etc. But quite interesting that a team would choose to use a cardboard box as opposed to a bike bag. They're obviously confident it protects the bikes well enough. I'm sure there's loads of padding inside. And it also looks from the writing on the side like they could fit a lot in. 1 bike plus 2 pairs of wheels, or in some cases, 2 whole bikes. Those of you who watched the hot tech video from the women's UAE tour might remember that I said I think the men's teams have to up their game to compete with the paint jobs and the frame sets there. Well, Orbea have certainly upped their game. I absolutely love this bike, which certainly sparkles in the sun. Real nice details here towards the back of the top tube as well, with the Lotto team graphics. This is the Orca Aero of Logan Currie. I'll do a free hub sound check for you as well. There we go, the zip wheel. Oh, and I mustn't forget, test if it's waxed. Yeah, I think that's waxed. I almost forgot, crank length audit, 165s. Quite a few single chainring setups here at the UAE Tour, particularly on the time trial bikes. The time trial here is just 12 kilometres long and absolutely pan flat, so no need for the smaller chainring. And of course, a few SRAM sponsored teams are using it on the road as well. But I was just speaking to Philippe, the head mechanic of Bahrain Victorious, and he pointed me towards this chain guide that they're using at the front of their time trial bikes here. Originally, after making this in 3D printing it, they were going to make it out of a stronger material, but in the end, they decided to use it as it is. Reason being that if the chain does get jammed for whatever reason during a time trial, if it's made out of a stronger material, it is properly going to get jammed. However, with this particular 3D printed model, if the chain gets jammed, it's likely to snap it off, and therefore the rider can keep going. Not hot tech as such, but I wanted to point out what a monumental task it is for the mechanics here at the UAE Tour, because obviously, unlike Europe, where all the bikes are put into one of their trucks and taken to whatever race they're doing, here they've got to fly it overseas, which means packing up an awful lot of bikes and then putting them all together again once they get here. And since there's a time trial at the men's UAE Tour, that is an awful lot of bikes. 7 riders per team, a road bike and a spare, and at least 1 time trial bike per rider as well. So I was just talking to the mechanics here at Lotto. They've got a total of 23 Orbea bikes to build up. Some of the other teams with the time trial specialists will have bought 2 time trial bikes, so they've got a spare there as well. So yeah, a lot of bike building going on with 2 days to go to the race. With the road bikes in the bike bags that we see here, the Chicon ones, you don't really have to remove anything like the saddle or the bars, so it should all be in the right position. But with the time trial bikes, they have had to remove the seat posts, etc. So in order to ensure they get them into exactly the right position again, most of the teams will have brought something like this. This is from bikesettings.com, but a measuring rig, essentially, that allows them to get back to the exact position that the riders need. So I popped over to Lidl-Trek and I bumped into one of their coaches, audit, here, and he was telling me that they've been using the Core body sensor. You might remember that we've partnered up with Core at GCN, videos on that coming soon. But I wanted to ask you, audit, how long you've been using it and how you're using it through the season, but also specifically here at the UAE Men's Tour.
Okay. So for the core sensor, it's already a couple of years, 3 years we're using it, and with the heat training adaptation or the heat training thing, it's something that every year is coming stronger and stronger. No, with the climate change, the heat waves, and also we are realizing the last years that heat is making a huge difference on the performance of the riders. So for that, the core sensor is fantastic for us, helps us understanding how the rider is adapting when he's at home, and also help us a lot when a rider needs to implement cooling strategies, so we can see in the file and understand better his performance related also to the heat.
And how have you been using it here? Because most of your riders have come over from Europe, where in general it's quite a lot cooler here than it is here in the UAE. Have you been using it to help them adapt to the heat here for this race?
Yeah, 100%. No, so we do when they use it during the training. They use it when they are on the home trainer. So what we do is we analyze how they are accumulating the heat. And this helps us to tell them, to explain them how important it is to adapt to the heat.
Is it a big difference it makes to them?
It is. We have seen riders, so the numbers show us that they perform like 20% less, but in this means that they are not performing at all. No, they are completely out of the race. Yeah. So when they do the heat adaptation, we can reduce that to a 5%, 3%, depending on the rider. It's always very individual to each rider. So this makes a big difference.
And you've come prepared with the new updated core. I don't think I've got my hands on one yet. I'm looking forward to it. But what's different with the new one?
So we just received the Core 2 sensor, and we can see it's lighter and more easy to use for the riders, because they put on the strap and then they can connect and disconnect very easy. More comfortable also. We found out with the riders it's more comfortable. So we're super happy with the new version.
We've saved the best for last, or at least the biggest. Jonathan Milan, winner of stage 1 here at the Men's UAE Tour, is running a 68-tooth chainring on his time trial bike today. And I've also spotted the same size on Josh Tarling's bike. That pro bike video is already out on GCNTech, so check that out if you'd like. Absolutely massive though. The team here have nicknamed it the dinner plate. Well, Tarling is certainly putting his 68-tooth chainring to good use. He's just flown past me at 60 kilometres per hour. Better go and slap him with a €60 fine. Well, that brings our UAE adventure to a close for 2025. Don't forget, though, keep your eye on the channel for the Tadej Pogacar Colnago Y1 RS Pro Bike video. That'll be out very soon indeed. In the meantime, I hope you've enjoyed this one. If you have, as ever, be much appreciated if you could click on the thumbs up button. I'll see you soon.